Uppercut, uppercut, sonic boom! Well, hello there, humans, hippies, earthlings, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, if you're lucky enough indeed to be doing it too. Unless you've been living under a rock of late, you wouldn't have missed the Reforged update. Well, some called it the debacle. I didn't. I was a lot more measured in my chat with it, but it was certainly controversial. Now, I don't know if you know this, but if you're a follower of the Bushka on Blitz channel, you would know that I posted basically a comment where I said, I'm going to go and talk to the devs. I didn't know who in the devs, I didn't know where or when, but I was going to get feedback and go and talk to them. So I took all these comments and I distilled them down into a sheet, sent it off to my contacts at Wargaming, and lo and behold, I was given some access and got to talk to some people at Wargaming. Most notably, my good mate Thaine, who is a bit of a legend and is heading up the whole Blitz show. Now, I'm not saying that I did this changes, because in fact, what Thaine wanted to talk about was these changes and very much the sentiment of this stuff here. But I think that it is just really exciting to be in an era with the Blitz team where they are so open and so engaged and so worried about steps for the game moving forward that they are listening, really listening to you, the player base, and the issues you have. Now, one of the funny things I find about it is that in this, there's like 150 responses in here that I put through, and in them, there are some suggestions that are actually diametrically opposed. They're not the same. They are on opposite ends of the spectrum, and that's fine. Not everything that they've come back with is going to make everyone happy. And for some people it's too far, and for some people it's too little. What I think is really important here is that what I said all along is that this is a test. This is a test. They tested. They didn't like the way they put it through, which they had a bit of a mea culpa about in a big way here. And I thought that was really good. Some of you felt the change was too drastic, and the lack of communication only made things worse. The first introduction of the Reforged update was not handled well, as it should have been, as well as it should have been. We would ask you to let us try and do it properly. I think this is a wonderful interaction between us as players and Wargaming as the developers. One of the real things I took exception to was that there was this massive amount of hysteria on both YouTube and in the Reddit feeds and that, where it was like, I'm leaving, this is done, Blitz is finished and all this. It was like, guys, if you played the Reforged update, you would know that actually playing the game, there was very little different in terms of the gameplay mechanics. There were some issues with the hitboxes. They did testing on the hitboxes, and it came back that people who weren't Blitz players and were joining the game, like 90% of them thought that red was where you should shoot. And this isn't like some fake test group. They then asked them again, you know, how strongly do you feel that that is the correct answer? And they were all like 100% certain that is the correct answer. You should shoot the red part. So I think things like that were really interesting to me, because we as Blitz players just go with whatever is in the game, and we are naturally inclined to just see that as normal. But you've got to remember that as a company, they're out there testing it and they're trying to bring in new players. And for us as a Blitz community, if we don't get new players, we're dead in the water, right? You've got to have new players to keep the game going. So the actual play style itself was good. The thing that really upset me though was the way everyone seems to think negatively about the people in the Blitz team. Now, I always stand up for these guys, because whether or not they've made mistakes, and not everyone agrees with the way things are balanced and developed. Like, I think the Annihilator is a pile of turds, and I would rather see it sunk to the deepest depths of the Atlantic. But I digress. It's the fact that they work hard. I've never seen anyone in the Blitz team that I've had an interaction with skiving off and not getting the job done. Like we're talking about guys and gals who many of the things that I'm doing when I'm casting it's like at 2, 3, 4 in the morning, and they've already pulled 24-hour shifts and they're still there because it's their job to make sure they fix and get things done. Now, that sounds reasonable, but you've got to remember they're also in Vilnius, in Lithuania now, because of a situation that was no fault of their own back in Minsk in Belarus, where they had to literally uproot their lives and change countries, leaving family, friends, everything behind, and just go and work on this job. And that's how much they want to do this job. I really get shits when I see people talking like they're, you know, lighting up $100 notes and laughing at the player base because they're ruining the game and enjoying doing it. They're not twirling mustaches. It's not Dick Dastardly sitting there, got him again. Like, that's bollocks. This Unreal tournament, this Unreal engine didn't happen in a month. It's not like they just picked it up and threw some money at it. It's like, there you go. This has been going on for a couple of years. So when I say that this was a big step and that everyone was really invested in it and that there's a mea culpa here that they're really upset about screwing up, that's a genuine thing. I also think it's incredible that the things that popped the most for me on the posts that I got from you, the player base, are exactly the things that they like immediately got stuck into. Commanders, the new style of commanders themselves, key crew skills being lost, the fair balance of the new skills, and concerns that the best skills and commanders would be paywalled. I mean, that first line is like, effing Luya, that is everything we were worried about. That is exactly what we're worried about, right? And I talked to Thaine and he put forward the idea that the commanders were meant to be two separate sets, like a historical commander and then the more fun and poppy commander. And like, you might call it the Fortnite commander, right? Somewhere along the way, the historical guy got watered down until they were both kind of middle of the road, leaning towards this cartoony kind of feel. And that's a mistake, but it's a mistake that they've instantly realized is important and they're going to address it. I can tell you right now that you don't have to run historical tanks all the time because it hasn't been happening forever. I mean, only old school OG grubs would remember this, but Ruckus, 48-ton Ruckus used to be just about the preeminent Blitz YouTuber when the game first started. He wasn't very big and it was only a very early game, but he was out from PC and he was intensely historically accurate. And he did an intro when he was drinking his morning coffee and turned on the screen and up popped the Dracula and the, oh my God, the Helsing. And he just goes and spits his coffee out. It was like 7 or 8 years ago, man. Like, we had Draculas and Helsings 7 or 8 years ago. Historical accuracy as a ship has sailed, gone to another country, picked up a new boatload of humans, come back and done the trip 2 or 3 times. It's not there anymore. It's not a historical World War II sim and hasn't been for some time, okay? I mean, there's plenty of examples in the game of your Forest Witches, your Annihilators. It's just Helsings, Draculas, you name it, it's there. I do like that they are moving back towards a commander that gives you a historical option. Okay, national crew voices. They're all important things. They're things we wanted for so long, but to have them and lose them was important. Losing, I mean, the new UI is so much better. Now I've seen the new UI, right? I've seen the way the tech tree looks now, and guys, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. It's not terrible. It's not ignoring your feedback. It's not going to be a different game. And they're working on not just the stuff that's important to us, like commanders and set progression and the economy, etc. They are acting on the feedback about tech performance and such, which was more important to me. We're shelving some debatable commanders and reworking visuals for others to make them fit better with Blitz's identity. We're also introducing an option to switch to national crew voices and we're continuing to balance the skills and values to keep the gameplay fair. This is so interesting. So on the one hand, we have players that shout and scream about how they want skill-based matchmaking. On the other hand, we have skill-based matchmaking. Skill-based matchmaking, by its very name, will constantly match you with players of a higher skill to challenge you so that you are in until it finds your medium, and then you're going to win 50% of your games if it's perfect. We had skill-based matchmaking and no one liked it, and it was terrible. And it's like exactly the same thing for crew skills. I love crew skills. They're great. I've got all of them and have had all of them for a long time. And it's one of the reasons why you won't find tier 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and very little tier 7 games. Because Snake Eyes and I would run double Kenaiotsu in tier 3 with maximum crew skills and win 99 games out of 100. Or people would run premium matchmaking B2s in tier 4 where you couldn't get anything else but tier 4 games and you'd just shred everyone. Or you'd be like an Annihilator with maximum crew skills at tier 7. We've seen those accounts. They're all out there. If you see an Annihilator with 30,000 games at 80% win rate and he's just playing tier 7 Annihilator and he's got maxed crew skills and all this, those games are wins against players who are just starting out, who are grinding tech trees, who are getting to tier 7 and they're like, I can't fucking go anymore. This is nuts. I can't beat this guy. I can't win. That guy's experienced. He's got the most overpowered tank in the game and he's got every crew skill to improve his performance. Mobility when there's more tanks around him. Maximum damage rolls after 3 hits. Like, this stuff is so freaking OP. It needs to go. Like, if I have to fight hard to convince you that crew skills are broken, then you are part of the problem. You really are, because I've got mates in PUBG Mobile. Now, some of you don't know this, but I've got like 120,000 sub PUBG Mobile channel. I've got many of them who have tried to start playing tanks and they've got multiple issues that mean they stop and they don't get through. Like 1 or 2 have made it up towards tier 10. So many have stopped along the way. And one of the biggest issues they have is they just can't compete. Like, they're in tanks that are too slow and you're grinding a freaking German light tank and you come across a forest witch. Like, you're just gonna get obliterated. It's so dumb. The cutting of tiers 1, 2, and 3 has been on the cards forever. Making it more competitive for newer players, this is gonna take it percentage points down, but the longer we get this crazy idea that it's okay as it is, the more it's going to be a game that just dies slowly. We've got to make changes. Like, as players, you have to acknowledge that. Like, running double IS6 platoons or double IS3 platoons, defender platoons, like, I've done it. We've all done it. You're a max skilled player who can win 60% of your games in a normal tank. So you're winning 6 out of 10 times instead of 4 out of 10 times. So you're winning 50% more than a normal player. And you wonder why they leave. And then you double down by running overpowered tanks in tandem in voice comms. And you wonder why new players leave. Like, this is what this is about. We've got to make the game more accessible and we've got to make it easier. I've got a mate, Barry, who I've played like 1,000 games of PUBG Mobile with. And he was just telling me the other day, he's like, what line should I go down? And I'm like, do the IS7 line, because it's the most straight up, like, just drive forward kind of angle your tank a bit, get better at it. And he's a smart guy who plays 4-finger claw or something on an iPad and can run guns and fight and switch and drive and all that in PUBG Mobile. And he's like, this is just too hard. It's just way too hard. It's a hard game. There is so much to know. There is so much information you need to know. Overmatch, angles, HE performance, consumables, like camouflage, like line of sight, hard cover, hull down. It's just nuts. We see this as second nature. but it's almost like you've qualified for a job to be able to be a good Blitz player. And we need to make changes to bring people in. A lot of people actually made, like X-Rob and Co made comments about how they need to improve the tutorial for new players, and they're not wrong. They're not wrong at all. It's really difficult. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents. What they're saying, I'm not speaking for Wargaming. They are talking about putting together a group of people to look at this, or at least they're going to give people who are players in the player base more of a chance to actually comment on the changes that are coming through and get feedback from it. So I can't think of a more positive way to wake up on a Wednesday morning for Blitz and see this stuff, because it's such a great departure from some of the hard-headedness that I've experienced over the years, like with spare parts, from the wargaming side of things. This is actually brilliant. It's feedback listened to, it's a communication with the gaming community, and it's almost somewhat of a partnership moving forward. Anyway, I would love to hear your comments. Let me know what you think, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Au revoir, amigos. Look after yourselves. Stay safe. There will be actual tanking going on soon. And until next time, bye for now.